that people that think that they will be the front runners, they won't, because these are the people that we don't see, we don't know, we hardly hear of. Those are the people that are in contact with God 24/7. أننا الناشئ اتلي ماسخ مغزيخلو اتلي يطخلو اتلي يطيلان اتلي خزخلو أننا الناشئ اتلا سبارة أنينا أنقمايت بت خزيلة مارن أنينا أنقمايت هنا بسبارة بشيخة. مثلا you had a question, Baba?
Yeah. You know how St. Paul said that women shouldn't teach?
Yeah.
But why is God's, this woman's teaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does St. Paul mean by that?
Okay. What does St. Paul mean by that? Now we're going to change the subject a little bit if we go into that. It wasn't about teaching at all. It was, you see, this is what people don't understand. Guys, please, when you read the Bible, think about the situation, think about the time that you're reading it. It's that time, you have to go back to that time. You see how all of you have Bibles, either on your phones or in front of you, and you can have it in any language you want, right?
Yes.
Back then they didn't have nothing. They couldn't even touch the Bible. It wasn't available, and they were not allowed. Okay? So they were only in the temple. Okay? And they were written on scrolls. And the scrolls was what? A scroll was what? It was a skin of an animal. Okay? And it was written on it, and it was kept into the temple. And do you know, every time the words were about to disappear, vanish, just fade from those skins, you know what they used to do? They used to sit 70 elders. 70 elders. And they would sit and rewrite the whole thing. They would give each one skin of an animal, and each one will write, let's say, one chapter of Isaiah, because Isaiah's book is about to fade away. And you know what they used to do? They used to fast from everything. And I mean from everything. And they used to have one pen specially made, just so they can write the Lord's name or God. They wouldn't use the other pen for God's name, because they already used it to write other, because there's a lot of bad things they have to write in the Bible. So they had to write with that, but when it comes to God's name in any way, any shape, they had one pen. And you know what? They would rather die than make a mistake in writing, because once they finish writing, all 70 will have to check each other's writing. So 70 times the book will be checked, each scroll. And that is why St. Paul says, when it comes to the Word of God, I am so appreciative of the Jewish people. If it was given to other people, it would have been all mishmash. So a person, if he would make a mistake in one thing, they would have to burn it. And he had to go back fast again in order to come back and light it. So there were no books. There was nothing. He's not talking about teaching. He's talking about speaking in the church, in the temple. Because in the old days, women will sit in the back. I showed you guys the structure of the church, right? You remember?
Yeah.
So in the old days, a woman will sit in the back, men will be sitting in the front, and then what does he say? And if you didn't understand anything, don't make loud voice in the church. Just go and ask your husband. Why? Because the husband is sitting in the front. There's no speakers, guys. There's no speakers, loudspeakers to hear. So a woman will say from back there, what did he say? And they'll say, what did he say? And what happened? And what? And then he says, okay, woman, be quiet in the church. That's all what he means. See?
Because they were sitting, I'm sorry, in the back?
In the back.
Yeah.
Even in temples now, they separate.
Oh yeah, they had their own door.
In the Jewish temples.
They had their own door. One door was for men. Men will come here, and well, because you know, I drew the picture of the church. I'll show it to you one day, so you can see what it looks like. Women used to be in the back, men used to be in the front, and because you're in front, you can hear everything. So at the end, he says, if you didn't understand anything, just when you go home, ask your husband.
So that's a Jewish law, obviously, right?
It's not that it's a law.
It's not a law.
Tell women to be quiet.
It's just telling him not, yeah, because people.
Why would they be restrained to sit in the back, though? That's what I'm trying to...
No. That was already the structure of the church.
Okay.
Women has to sit in the back. Men have to sit in the front. Okay?
Japan and China.
But what happened is, you women took over.
Even in the
Even here.
Men, that's right, Islam.
We used to sit in the back.
Islam, they have women on one side, men on that side. يعني ما تقدر تطلع يعني.
مسلمان اللي أوري نقوى جو تام جو إخ جو
مظبوطة.
جو ليت لو أقوري جو مسجد بس أرزة يازي. رزيت نقوى بدات غليت. I don't think Muslims women go to the mosque. Only women go to the mosque. Only men, huh? Oh, they have their own room. Okay. All right. It doesn't matter, but that was the idea. Wasn't that not to preach? It was always like that. Okay. All right. So, what's Paul saying now? Somebody read Paul. Muthanna. 1 Corinthians 13, 11 through 12. And Paul is saying,
When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known.
okay. بتسورة جينا.
Hi. Good. They are fine.
مبينة.
Yes.
God
Hi.
bless.
Hi.
Mariam. Bye Rita. Okay. هيا في تقرير جينا. هذه جملة كدبراتن. لا just go ahead.
وأخيالا كي قومنوا وأخيالا كي خشمنوا إينا كتويني ناشا
يعني جورة.
وطلالي من ديانة ديالوتا سبب أدية أخ بنورة زايوة مسالة إينا هيجا باتا قم باتا أدية بضاية خا قدر إينا هيجا بت يطعن داخل وبشتي ضيعة.
So it's all about now and then. What do I know now? What will I know then? What do I know now? What will I know then? هدية كله إلى جو صلمنتي، هدية كله إلى جو تخمنتي، هدية كله أنا بينجر شنو شكل ملكوتا يخوشاري. What are mostly people asking about the kingdom? What does the kingdom look like? What people trying to figure out? Have you seen always people ask us like, what are we going to do over there? Are we just going to sit and pray 24/7? What are we doing over there? You know? Most of people ask this question, and that's how they think, and that's what they put in their imagination, that this is what's happening up there, so then I don't want it. Right? What am I going to do there? But yet, St. Paul is going to tell us it's something that an ear never heard of and an eye never seen. You know how beautiful the earth was back then at the time of St. Paul? If you stand on a mountain where he goes, where he's been through Greece and Turkey and Syria and all these places, you stand there and you're going to see this beauty. It's so, it's like you never seen it anywhere. You know, it's like something you can only imagine. You can't even draw it. You can't even think about it. Imagine there was nothing built. There was none of these artificial buildings. It was all natural, right? But he said, when I saw, it's not even close. You know, أنا كم خزنة لين واصل تخمن لين واصل متنك يبالي أمرن بدماير. So if you see in Hawaii, you're gonna say, okay, so it looks like Hawaii, but it doesn't. See, you can't even imagine it, so you can draw the picture of it. You can't. He said, I can't tell you about it. Simply, you have to kill me. What does that mean? It means if you go to 1800, okay? If something just right now, a machine take you back to 1800, and you're walking with your cell phone, and suddenly a cowboy sees you, and he says, so who are you? And you say, you know where I come from? I can order everything through this, I can find my way through this, I can look people up from this, I can see what's happening in the world through this. He's just gonna pull the gun and shoot you. He's gonna say, this person is crazy. And that's what St. Paul is saying. If I tell you what I saw there, you have to shoot me, because you won't understand me. It's like you're trying to explain something from 2019 to a person that's living in 1800. It's impossible. And that is how it's impossible to understand what he saw. So, when you are a child, what child of what? He's not talking about when you are a child. He's talking about when you were a child in knowledge of God, understanding the love of God, understanding Jesus Christ, understanding the kingdom of God. You were a child in it. But once you get that relationship with Jesus Christ, once you get stricken by that light, once things change in your life and you grow into it, Iemand jerwisig yu hemanuta. Iemand matach el chadargat hemanuta. Mach Shumon u machanna. Like Simon and like Hannah. When we reach that point, then we don't have to see it. We're just gonna wait to see. Because right now, it's like we're looking in a mirror dimly. Okay? It means in the darkness. In a evanta betawch face to face. That's when you see everything, when you get there. Why? Because what's faith? Then what does faith mean anymore? If you see everything now, then what is faith anymore? What is the meaning of faith? Right? So if a child comes and looks at his gift under the Christmas tree, he doesn't know what's in it, but he tries to imagine for himself what is in it. But if you leave it open without a cover, and he knows what's in the box, it's no longer a hope for him. We have no hope then. So if God opens heaven now, and we all live regular life, we stay here and we live with God, but when we just see everything in heaven, will anybody sin anymore? Will anybody do bad deeds anymore? So in Allah patikhla shmaya wa bkhaya bkhashashula ubitaya ubgzayu nashidiyan. Hey, how are you guys? How you doing? Hey, good. I'm doing good. You know, it's like if you are in contact with the people up there, your loved ones, and you see them where they are, and you walk to work and you come back, then where is the hope and where is the faith? What happened? Fishermen, not hunters. Jesus chose fishermen because fishermen believe there is fish in the water without seeing. But hunters have to see what they're hunting for before they shoot it, before they kill it. So kabud hada modi boy amaran. What is the message in this? What is the message in this? Now we have to live the kingdom. Now we have to understand the kingdom by the soul. Then we're gonna live it by the body. Now we're living it by the soul. هدية بخاية ملكوت على بطروخة. Come on. Because the soul is giving us that hope, and that hope is increasing our faith. See? So it's going to be hope, faith, and then love. See? So the more your faith increases in you, the bigger your hope is, the bigger your love becomes. شانتي. إجا قبض هذا خبة زايد جاوان إيمان هيمانوتا زيادة وهيويا زايد. So هيويا إلى تلخ زيتا. إذا تخمر أتيا ملكوتوخ ليلة ما نايو بس أمرخلة. لا قري شخلة شكله. We have to draw the picture of the kingdom when we say your kingdom come. لا بس أمرخلة. ليلة زمرتا. It's not a song. It's connection between the soul and heaven. That's why you have to use your spirit when you talk to God. You have to do it spiritually, not physically. It's not the lips. It's the inner. It's who you are. That's why I always say, close your eyes and pray and feel it. Because now you're living it through the soul. You will never see it by the flesh. You only can see it by the soul. بس ما سخزت له بطروخة بالجان. Very well. So Paul made it clear for us. And what did he say in Galatians 4:12? Fran, you can read this. What's okay? It's on the board.
Okay. Brethren, I urge you to become like me, for I became like you. You have not injured me at all.
Beautiful. Surah?
Did you make that bigger so I could read it?
Yeah. Next time I make it bigger. Because it was a short verse.
Okay.
If it's short, it's gonna become big by itself. Surah Baba? Eh? Azirek. Yalla, no maqban kos azirek.
سابق أنا ويلي أبكيوكم ليتون عويرقناها إلي.
Exactly. So what is Paul saying? Be like me because I used to be like you. Really? How sad is that? Someone tell us, be like me because I used to be like you. What is that? Hope. Hope.
You were he's saying he was a sinner like you.
So he was like us, and then he became Paul. So he was a Saul, and then he became Paul. But what's amazing about the whole thing, God was looking at Paul all along. Even though he was Saul in his skin, but God was looking at Paul. And that's the difference between man and God. Man still looking at him as Saul. Do you know some people until now, it's been 3,000 years. 3,000 years. Until now people say that King David is more sinner than me. You see? Until now they look at King David as a sinner because they don't know really what King David had to go through. You see? To become the real King David that God chose. So the same thing. So modi le mara le khapolis mara le vemun magdi sab ana qamta magdi yokhun ana qamta khatayin wa hadiya al plibtum min yukhtaita. So before I was a sinner and now I walked away from sin. And then he's telling them, don't worry because you didn't injure me. It doesn't matter. Even if you sinned against me, I'm forgiving you. Don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt. Okay? Because he said they spat in our face and we prayed for them. They walked all over us and we blessed them. Right? And that's what's going to happen to you. And that's what happened to Lot. People walked all over him. People spit at him. People said bad things to him in his face. But he prayed for them. And that's what we're supposed to do, people. Because we became Paul. No longer we are Saul. So even though people will still see you as Saul, no matter